Kenny's Concepts will be celebrating International Women's Day with a series of videos all about women. In this series, we're going to be talking about women and money, women and career, and how we can support the next generation of female leaders. Coming up in the first video in this series, we discuss some healthy financial habits and money tips to promote financial independence and well-being. Welcome to Kenny's Concepts, where the beauty of knowledge is our passion. The mission of this channel is to share useful insights and tips to help you on your personal and professional development journey. If you're new to this channel, welcome. If not, I'm super happy that you could join us once again. Remember to hit that subscribe button and bell notification to stay connected and know as soon as a new video is out. Also, if you like this video, show us some love and give us a thumbs up. Of course, I would not be able to do any justice to this video series without being accompanied by a woman that embraces, flourishes, and makes significant strides towards all the areas we're about to discuss. So I'm joined by a very good friend of mine, Georgianne Watt, who is a financial advisor, creative in the field of dance, and all in all, an amazing woman.
Hi everyone, so as Paul said, my name is Georgianne Watt and I'm a financial advisor. And what I do is I educate families and individuals on how money works. I tell all my clients that if you don't understand the money game, someone else is going to make money using your money. And also I'm a dance fitness instructor. I have a faith-based dance fitness program called Energy in Motion Dance Fitness, which aims to promote both physical and spiritual fitness.
Amazing. So let me ask you, before we jump specifically into the tips, what do you think are some of the distinctions that are specific to women as it relates to money and finance?
So I think of a nuclear family when I think of women and finances, because if you have the husband who is, primarily the breadwinner in most cases, and then you have the woman, the wife, who takes care of the affairs of the home, the man would bring in the money into the home, and you would have the wife that would take care of the groceries, paying the school fees, buying of the clothes. So she'd be the one to distribute the finances. And I also think of women, they really have a nurturing, caring, disposition. So I would think that they would be more hands-on in terms of finances and making sure that everyone is taken care of.
Amazing. So that covers the nuclear family. But let me ask you, Georgianne, what about the woman that's single? What about the woman, the independent lady out there that's taking on the world as it is right now by herself?
Right. So all the more reason why she needs to have a good understanding of finances, because it is just her. She'd have to have a clear idea of how much money she's making, how much money she's spending, how it is that she's going to meet her day-to-day needs. So that's something that if she doesn't do it, who else is going to do it? So definitely for nuclear families and for single women or single parent households led by women, they definitely need to have a hands-on approach when it comes to finances.
Awesome. So with that said, what are your top 5 tips for women as it relates to money and finance?
Okay, so my top 5, first one would be you want to make sure that you educate yourself. You have to understand how money works. So that would mean whether it is that you're going to go to seminars, financial seminars, whether it is that you're going to seek out a financial advisor, you're gonna talk more openly about it, read up articles online, whatever it is that you need to do to understand finances and what it is that you need to have in place. The second would be you want to make sure that you set a goal. So in order to do that, you have to understand where you are at first. So you want to make a budget. Know how much you're making monthly in terms of whether it's active income, passive income, how much money are you bringing to the table. Then you want to make sure that you write out all of your expenses. I know for a lot of people, they have in their mind how much they think they spend, but until I have them write it out, they're very shocked that they're spending more than they're making. So you want to make sure that you write it out. So when you understand the cash flow that you have coming in on a monthly basis, you can now, you know, set a goal as to what do I want to have in retirement years, and the next year to put a down payment on a house, to buy a car, whatever it is. You're now able to, you know, see that pathway to get to your goals from that budget.
So let me ask you, so you speak about writing it down, and this can literally mean writing it down on a piece of paper. Literally. You know, some people use spreadsheets, some people use apps. What have you found is the most effective way to setting out a budget?
Right, so you're right, different people, you know, they like different things. So you have spreadsheets for sure. So if you're on the computer a lot, if you're into that type of thing, then a spreadsheet would be great. If not, if you're on the go, you don't really have time to sit down and put in numbers and to check your receipts, what you could do is download a free app from the App Store called Every Dollar.
Nice.
So you can plug in the amounts, you know, if you make a stop at McDonald's, the grocery store, wherever it is, Dollarama, you want to make sure that you put in those amounts on the go, and it will track. You can put in your budget, so if you're close to it, it will warn you. So it's a great app that you could use. So you have different strokes for different folks, and there are tools available for people who prefer, you know, the different methods of, you know, tracking their budget, creating a budget.
Nice.
So the third tip that I would share is you definitely want to live within your means, especially if it is that you have a budget now. You want to make sure that you cultivate the discipline to understand what it is that you want versus what it is that you need. So that means spending less than you earn. You're making sure that you're sticking to that budget, and you're living within your means.
Nice. So you mentioned discipline there, and I think that's a challenge that men and women have, right?
Yes.
What do you think are some tips that you can actually give to I guess, better develop this concept of discipline as it relates to finances and money?
I know that is a hard one. Even though you might have a budget and, you know, you have an idea of how much you want to spend, I do empathize. It's kind of hard to have that discipline, but that's something that's cultivated over time. And it's great that you put your goals up, you put these things in front of you, so you're gonna think twice whenever you go on the road and you're just, you know, spending here and there, because this goal is in front of you. You want to make sure that you're doing the things that will allow you to reach that goal. And if possible, have an accountability partner. Have someone else that you're talking with on a daily basis or just a regular basis throughout the week about finances, about your goals, so that you can be held accountable. You know, at the end of the week, they can ask you, check up on you, like, okay, where are you at in terms of cash flow? They can hold you accountable. You don't have to do it on your own. And as I said, if you need a financial advisor, that helps too, in terms of just accountability and staying on that straight and narrow.
Awesome.
So the fourth tip would be having an emergency fund. And this is super important. When I set out to understand finances, this was one goal that I made sure that I accomplished right away, having an emergency fund. You want to prepare for the unexpected. So my advice would be to save at least 8 to 12 months worth of expenses, just in case, you know, something unforeseen happens, so that you have the funds in order to take care of that, and you don't have to dip into, you know, other resources in order to do that. So that's definitely something to keep in mind.
So that's super important. As you mentioned, anything can come up, and that one incident can blow you out of the water financially.
Yes.
I've always heard that 3 months is a good benchmark, you know, maybe 3 to 6. It's actually my first time hearing 8 to 12, but I can imagine
Yes.
the more you have, the better, right?
Yes.
What do you think?
Yeah, so you are correct. So the benchmark is typically 3 to 6. But we have slashed that out. So you want to make sure that you save up at least 8 to 12, just to be on the safe side. You want to have a big enough reserve, because you don't know what's going to happen. 3 to 6 months, like a month goes by so quickly. So you want to make sure that you have that buffer. So I would recommend 8 to 12 months.
Nice. I'll definitely keep that in mind.
Yeah. So the fifth and final tip is to protect your income. What do I mean by this? The foundation of your financial home is your income, your ability to earn income. And if your ability to earn income is compromised, then everything else that you're working towards, that you're striving towards, it will just come crumbling down. You can't build the roof and put up the frames if you don't have that foundation. So you want to make sure that your income is protected against the inevitable, which is death. If you are, if you're in a relationship and someone else is dependent on your income, or if you have a family and they're dependent on your income, you have debt, you have other things, when you pass away, you want to make sure that you're leaving them better off, not sticking them with your bill and your responsibilities. So you want to make sure that your income is protected against the inevitable, which is death. Disability. You can get into an accident, you can become ill, and your bills don't stop. So you want to make sure that your income is protected during that time that you are off work. And you want to make sure that your income is protected against critical illness. That can happen at any time. We don't know, we're healthy now, we're young, vibrant, but a year from now, 2 years from now, God forbid, something happens, we contract a major disease, cancer, whatever it is, right? So you want to make sure that you're not dipping into your savings and again, other resources being depleted for these things that should be protected. So those are just some things that you want to protect against.
So in speaking about protecting your income, effectively you're getting at using insurance and utilizing insurance to protect that income. But what do you say to people that are somewhat skeptical about insurance and basically say that we're paying these monthly premiums continuously and this eventuality, whether it be death, critical illness, won't happen right now, and effectively we're wasting our money paying for insurance? What would you say to them?
Right, so I would just educate individuals on the bigger picture. Just educating, individuals on what happens to an individual, a family, when that income is no longer there and you still have responsibilities. In our community, unfortunately, we pass on a lot of debt and we don't transfer wealth, which, insurance is a vehicle in order to do that. So, death is more than just figuring out, burial and all of that. It's a lot more than that. Because if someone has, student debt, OSAP debt of $30,000, that doesn't just go away. Your debt doesn't die with you. Maybe in the Caribbean, but here in Canada, your debt does not die with you. They're coming after someone to pay that bill. And here in Canada, unfortunately, even when you're dead, they tax you. Who is going to take up that bill? So, I would just try and position it in a way where, how would you feel if your loved one, whether it is your spouse or your mother, your father, whoever it is, they pass on and they left you with $50,000 worth of debts? You also have to, figure out how to bury them. While you're grieving, going through all of that, you still have to pay their, final taxes, probate taxes, pay the lawyers to, just settle everything in the estate. Where's that money gonna come from? You're already saving and building towards your future, but now you have to consider, okay, great, I'm behind the 8 ball again. What am I going to do? So those are some things to consider. There's a lot more details as well that people don't generally think about. So again, it comes down to education. Same thing with illness. People are like, well, we're healthy now, like we're not gonna get sick. But think about the different marathons and marches that they have for whether it be cancer, heart and stroke. Thousands of people go to those marches. Why? People are diagnosed when they're healthy and they're living throughout, that illness or that sickness. That takes money. And not just to go to the doctors, not just for medication, but if it is that you're gonna fly in a family member from abroad to take care of you, or to pay someone to be there to take care of you, the time they're taking off of work, the time that you have to take off of work, there's so many different factors to consider that we're not thinking about. And unfortunately, in our society, it's instant gratification. What do we see here and now, and how is it going to benefit me now? And it's just trying to shift that mindset to the future, the long term. How is it going to impact not just me, but my children and my children's children? And so again, it's just, you know, getting out of that selfish mind state where it's just all about me, who cares? But these things, insurance, they have a real lasting impact on the people around us. And also, I asked the question, who would you want to receive your money? Would you want the government to get your money, or would you want your loved ones to receive the money that you have left behind?
So Jordan just shared 5 tips to help women on their personal financial journey, which can go a long way if you absolutely give it full consideration and take actionable steps to achieving the outcomes that you desire. I did a video some time ago relating to success foundations and the saying, "A fool and their money shall soon part." I'll actually link that up in the YouTube card above. And in this video, we discuss more generally some finance tips that everyone should think about and incorporate in their own lives to actually achieve financial success and independence. In the comment section below, let us know if money and finance is your strong suit.
Also, do you have any additional tips to help women on their personal finance journey?
Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. Until next time, stay blessed.